We asked teachers on Facebook the following scenario. If you had to teach for a full day and you could only bring 4 items with you, what would they be? That's what we're going to be talking about on today's episode of Brothers on the Board. Welcome to Brothers on the Board, the podcast where we become better teachers together. Wes, we made it to this topic. We was a week delayed, but we got here.
Yeah. Yep. I was not great last week. So
yeah, Wes was a little under the weather. We had to throw up an episode that we had previously recorded, which did pretty well. People seem to really like that episode, actually.
Yeah, it turns out people really enjoy our pet peeves of students.
I guess people just enjoy seeing if they have the same pet peeves.
Yeah, hearing us complain about students.
Absolutely. But today, it's all about those 4 items. So we reached out to people on Facebook. We asked them what their 4 items would be. And, I was thinking about this when I first came up with this topic, and I was like, if I could only have a few things in the room, which I kind of do, to be honest. Like, I have a co-teacher. She has a bunch of stuff. Like, we have to move rooms this year, at the end of this year, and it's going to be a process, like getting her moved out, because she has a ton of stuff, right? I'll be helping her. I literally move rooms in my pockets. Like, I have basically nothing. I got some pens and markers. There's probably more stuff that has ended up in my washer upstairs than is currently in my room right now. Like, I bring home everything in my pockets. So I don't have much anyways. But for the sake of argument, if I could only have 4 things, what would it be? Reached out on Facebook just to see what people would say. And I want to give those people who commented, who gave their feedback, who gave their input, a huge shout out, because it was very entertaining to see kind of what the different variety of items would be that people thinks would make a good lesson. And remember, I'm thinking about this from the perspective of, okay, I need to teach this. I need it to go as smoothly as possible. I need to get through this today. When things go wrong and you get that really bad, like, kind of burning feeling in your face, and it's like really uncomfortable. Like, I need to avoid that. So I need these 4 items to get me through the day smoothly. So let's go through some of these first. Before Wes and I disclose our 4 items, let's go through these just a little bit and discuss some of the things that people said, and just have a conversation about them. So, Wes, I know that you said you liked one in particular. Would you care to share this person out?
Yeah. As soon as I find it again, I had to scroll back down to it. So Gene Thompson said chalk, board, books, and desks.
Is chalkboard one thing?
No, chalk, board.
And board. Okay.
All right. She separated the two.
They have a board and chalk. Okay. Yep. All right. Just checking.
Yep. Chalk, board, books, and desks.
Old school.
And, I appreciate this one. When I first went into education, I always told people I would have a chalkboard in my room.
Oh, dude, I hate chalkboards.
I love the sound of a chalkboard. There is something.
Really?
There's something.
Is it the tapping?
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
Yeah, there's something magical.
Not a big fan of chalkboards. No, not a big fan of chalkboards. Now, clearly, Gene has plans on lecturing that day. Like, Gene's going to come in, tell everyone, sit down, shut your mouth, and I'm going to talk to you all today. That's what Gene has plans on doing. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
that's the lesson.
I'm going to teach my heart out up here. You're going to listen. We're going to read a few books, and it's going to be a good day.
Wait, was books one of them?
Books was one of them, yes.
Okay, books were one of them.
Books were one of them.
At least there's that. Never mind. They can read at least for a second. I was like, nah, I'm just talking, baby. So, all right, okay, I like that. I appreciate that. We had one more old school person who's I think it was Betty Ledford, and Betty Ledford made the comment that we should go back old school, and it was kind of the same situation, right? We're talking just pencil, paper, books, none of that digital nonsense. We don't need any of that stuff here. Like, and I can appreciate it. I think watching some students now write on paper is very discouraging. After years of typing, it is a wake-up call sometimes. Because I don't have them write on paper very often, to be honest. Probably not as much as I should. And then I see them write on paper, and I'm like, oh, like we have some issues here. Like is this becoming the new cursive?
I was about to say, it's like watching my generation writing cursive or like write out a check. I had to write a check today, and I was like, it's been so long.
Did you Google it?
No, I asked the person I was writing the check to. I was like, do you sign here?
Dude, I Google it every time I have to write a check. I still Google it. You know the part where it gets to the and 00 or the and the so much over the one over the dollar, the 100. Like every time it gets to that, I'm like, and I know there's like a mark you put like across the rest of it, and yeah, I come from a different time, man. You can count the number of checks I've written on two hands for sure. Like it's not a pretty sight. So I do appreciate my old school commenters on here saying that we need to kind of go back to a more traditional way of teaching. I do, to a degree, agree with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, technology is great, but it can't be relied on 100%, and we do need to make sure we don't lose handwriting, and because it does feel like that sometimes. All right. We had a surprising amount of people say maps. I didn't expect maps.
We got a.
Would you have expected maps?
We got a lot of social studies people, is what we've got.
Yeah, that's what I said. I commented. No one replied to it, but I was just like, I'm like, do we have like a lot of social studies people in here or something? Like, what is the deal with all these maps? You know what I pictured? You know those old school pull down maps?
Oh,
it's like
absolutely. I have one. Yeah,
you have one.
I have one. Yeah.
I always think it's cool when you have them they're really old, so and they don't line up with current contemporary like countries. Mm-hmm. Like countries still have old names or they don't exist.
Yeah.
I always think those are cool. But yeah, we had a surprising amount of people say maps. I was like, huh, and I know that like my social studies department, I know that my teacher, shout out Mr. Todd, I know that he uses a lot of maps. Like they do a lot of map quizzes and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I guess if you're in social studies, probably fairly necessary.
Yeah, I mean, parts of science is also kind of dependent on a map. Talking about tectonic plates, things like that. So definitely, something that you need to, and you're not teaching history without teaching the geographical location. Like that ain't happening. So
yeah, no, I agree because it puts everything into context. Our next person, Kathy Donovan. Kathy, I told you, you're on Facebook. You're going to be my book person because Kathy just said books, baby. Just books. Kathy don't need anything else.
We're doing library days. we're reading.
We're reading today. Literacy rates are going up because of you, Kathy. I mean, I can appreciate it, man. Just old school. Every desk has a book on it. Here's the thing. And I truly believe this. We've been having this conversation actually at my school. We've gone very collaborative over the last few years. Like I think schools in general have went very collaborative, right? Whether it's project-based learning and it's we're working in groups and partners. And I agree. I love group work. I'm a huge proponent of group work. However, I feel like we're losing students' ability to concentrate, pay attention, work independently, think for themselves. I really think that we're losing that because, I mean, you look at it not just from the work that they're doing, but also the media that they're consuming with TikTok and YouTube Shorts and having to have someone talk to them all the time and having to have engagement all the time, right? I do believe that silent reading, even though in today's educational landscape isn't always the most glorified teaching strategy, is something that needs to be intentionally done. Reading, annotating, thinking for yourself. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I completely agree. There's not a week that goes by in my science class where we are not annotating some kind of scientific text. So, and I think that's reflective in like students' stamina. We've talked about it before. I feel like our students do not have the stamina to take a long test or read a long passage and annotate it.
True.
By the time they get through the first 2 or 3 paragraphs, they just are done and they just guess on questions. So I definitely think that that's part of it. You know, you need to give some more lengthy readings that sometimes you got to practice for a marathon, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we judge students and schools are judged on test scores, and it's really not fair that we spend all this time working in groups and pairs, and then suddenly you're asked to stay quiet for an hour and 45 minutes taking a test, right? You're not practicing. I know you don't want to teach to the test, quote unquote, but you got to practice the skills, or else what are you testing? like it's not really a true test if that's the case. Anyways, Kathy Donovan, we appreciate you and your book's comment. I think that was awesome. And I actually said on there, like, hey, you going to have them read, aren't you? And I think she actually replied, like, oh, yeah, you know it, like, ready to go. So I do appreciate that, Kathy. Thank you. Our next guy. We had one guy. And Wes, do you have that pulled up there?
I do, yes. Yeah.
Pull it up. Here he is. Dallas Goodwin. This is the party guy. All right, because Dallas recommended cookies, cupcakes, ice cream, and donuts. My man is ready for an incentive day. He's like, hey, they've been good. They've been good the last couple weeks. It's time to sugar up and chill, have a party. Right? He believes in positive reinforcement.
Yes, he does.
This is all positive. He believes in this. I thought that was really cool. It took me a second to kind of think about it. I had to be like, okay, is he serious? Like, is it really this guy has a little bit of time here to do this?
Yeah, and he is just going for it with the party, and you know I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I usually avoid. Yeah. I will say I'm weird about snacks. I know there's a lot of teachers that use like candy, you know, as an incentive. I'm weird about it. I'm super nervous about food allergies. First of all, I've always been. I don't know why.
I mean, it is a scary thing. You know, you have a kid that's, you know, peanuts.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want something. You know, it really that messes a kid up because of you. Like you gave them something they're allergic to. I mean, that's scary. We do. I do give out candy quite a bit. I mean, obviously, you have a record of everyone that's kind of what they're allergic to, so we try to be really careful.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thought. So this has always scared me personally. The thought that you can develop an allergy. I'm like, these kids are going to develop peanut allergies. It's going to happen, and it's going to be while I'm giving them candy. So I don't know. It's just something that I've always been weird about. Weird about food and food incentives, but. Hey, you know, I know a lot of people that do, and the kids will come to me and they'll be like, well, the 6th grade science teachers gave us candy. And I'm like, well, I'm not the 6th grade science teachers. I'll give you other things. You got star tickets. You can get star tickets from me. You can't get candy from me.
Yeah. What if they bring their own food? Are you cool with them eating in your room if they have their own food with them?
I always say that if it becomes a problem, like a mess, then we're done. And I've had years where like I've had to cut it out. Like, hey, there's chip wrappers stuffed in my sinks. We're done. Yeah.
We have that issue in our desks.
Dude, the other day, I had to have a plumber come out and clear one of my sink drains. And he was like, yep, there's no water going through this. It had like 2 inches of dirt and like 4 forks stuck down it.
Dude, what is it with middle schoolers and they're like the trash can could be right next to them, and they will put it somewhere they should not. So the other day, another teacher walks into our room. So there's 3 of us in there. There's 3 of us in there, and we're all just kind of standing there. And we're discussing something that was happening later, a meeting or something. We just kind of, talking about it. And there's a kid over that was eating candy. He was eating some kind of candy, and he takes the wrapper off, and he's eating the candy, and the wrapper. He's got a bunch of wrappers there. It was like Starburst or something. So there's just like a bunch of wrappers just sitting on his desk, and we're watching the kid, and we have a problem with kids stuffing the wrappers and everything back into the desks because we have the desks that have the hole in them where you can like store your books and stuff. So we're watching him, and I'm like, is he going to do the right thing? Is he going to do the right thing? Come on, bro, I'm rooting for you. And we're like, oh no. And then he just kind of looks around. I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. He takes a big handful of wrappers and just shoves them back in the desk. I'm like, no. We just like, hey, quit that. Throw that stuff away.
Oh,
I was like, and I went over to him. I was like, dude, listen, I was betting on you. Like, I was rooting for you right there to do what you should do, and you let me down, man. You let me down. So, Dallas, I appreciate it, man. You keep doing your incentive thing. You keep putting the sugar out, man. So, weirdly enough, no calculators. Do math people just not listen to this podcast? Is that maybe that's what it is?
That's probably it. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, you're science. I'm English, but I mean, you know what? If you're a math person, go to our Facebook page. Tell us about it. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. We
need more math representation on the Brothers on the Board Facebook page.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right. While we're talking about going to our Facebook page, I would love everyone to please do us a huge favor right now because it helps us tremendously in the search algorithms. Whatever you're listening on right now, whether it's Spotify or it's iTunes or whatever it is, I need you to do me a favor. Go and follow the podcast. Leave a review. Leave a rating. Do one of those things because what that does is it tells Spotify and iTunes, hey, this show's pretty good. I should move it up the list. So we would really, really appreciate it if you would just take a second of your time and click that follow button. That would be fantastic. All right, Wes, on to the grand finale. On to the real bulk of the show here. Our 4 items. I know you've got your 4. I'm ready to tell you why I would not use your 4, assuming yours isn't the same as mine. What you got for me?
All right, so I'm hoping that we have some similar, but we'll see. We'll see.
Surely
we have something similar. I mean, we both have the same kind of teaching style. I feel like. So
I'm sorry for calling you Shirley, but go on.
So anyway, I appreciate the old school stuff. I appreciate the chalkboard. That's where I was at when I first started education. But I cannot give up my computers. I know there's a place for them. So the first one I'm going with is the Chromebooks. You got to have the Chromebooks. Okay. I feel like it just allows access to so many different things: virtual labs, research assignments, writing, because sometimes you can't read the writing. Maps, right?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah. I feel like the Chromebooks are a bit of a cheat code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it gives you access to everything else.
Yeah, everything you need. A calculator for those that didn't call it calculator.
Yeah, for all you would-be math people, all you fictional math people that's not really here.
Yeah.
Don't you lie to me.
So that Chromebooks or some kind of laptop is definitely number 1 for me.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. What else you got?
All right. So for the second one, I've got a whiteboard. Now, unlike Gene, I lumped whiteboards in with an easel.
Wait. What do you mean? Like, are you trying to take up 2 items right now?
Kind of. So I need an easel.
Which one you want? You want the easel or you want the whiteboard? You got to choose here.
I want whiteboards for my groups. So I do not want just one whiteboard.
Okay.
I want all of my groups to have their own whiteboard and an easel just to stand the whiteboard up. If we're really getting technical and I got to give it up, I'll give up the easel if that's the ruling on the field.
Yeah, you're ruling on the field. You're giving up the easel. You can have, since you can have duplicates of the same item, you can have a whiteboard that's the same size as theirs.
Okay. So all right then, I guess I'm putting whiteboards on the floor then, because I didn't put desks on my.
Well, no. Desks was the criteria. It was desks were in the.
Yeah. Desks were already there.
It was an automatic. All right. This was the only thing.
All right. So all right then, whiteboards for everyone, for all of my groups. I would have like 8 or 9 whiteboards.
All right. All the groups have whiteboards and Chromebooks. They're sitting down. What else do they have?
Okay. Obviously, for the whiteboards, they have to have markers.
Yeah. That tends to help.
So we're going with scented markers because I love scented markers. Okay. Whiteboard, scented markers. And then my final one is going to be notebooks.
Okay. So like paper.
Yeah, well, we use signs. I use a science notebook. It's their space to write down any kind of model they have, any thoughts, jot it down, research. Okay. They have data in there as they're carrying out experiments. So
I do have a question for you. No pencils or pens?
Yeah, they can use markers. It's fine.
Well, I got news for you. I've ran into while we've been talking, I just ran into a similar dilemma. I ran into a very similar problem. I've been sitting here, I ain't gonna lie, I've been sitting here like contemplating in my head, like, how am I going to fix this over the last couple of minutes?
Hey, I got markers. They'll just use markers on the notebook.
Yeah, dude, you know what? Have you ever got down bad before and gave a kid a crayon to write with?
That has happened a time or two.
I have done that before. Plenty of
times.
I
don't use crayons or colored pencils ever again. Since my 4th year of teaching, I will not touch a crayon or a colored pencil.
Kids throwing them?
No. So if you get Crayola markers, the washable markers, they stay way more organized. I don't know if it's because they're bigger. I don't know what it is, but the kids will put them back in the correct spot. I don't have to go through and like put the colored pencils back in the same color.
Dude, I put crayons and Legos in the same category. Those things get mixed up everywhere. Like everywhere. Like they look like my 4-year-old's Lego box. They're just everywhere. Half of them's broken in half or thirds. Like they're all dull. Or they're flat on the end. There's no coloring because they're flat. And you know when the paper wraps around and covers the end of it? So you're like, oh, you end up having to tear apart of the end of the paper.
I know exactly what you're talking about, dude. Again, I'm not doing crayons anymore. Who sharpens a crayon? You never sharpened a crayon?
Yes. You like a pencil sharpener?
Yeah.
Admittedly, yes, I have.
I ain't doing it.
It doesn't go well.
No.
It doesn't go well. It gets everywhere. It's not a good, and it doesn't work either. So it's not a good thing. Okay. So that's all 4, right?
Yeah.
Of your items?
That's it. That's the perfect combination for Mr. Howard Science Classroom.
All right. Okay. So it's going smooth for you, huh? All right. Time for mine.
I'm ready.
It's going to be pretty similar, to be honest. First thing I would have is Chromebooks for the exact same reason as you. I don't think it's giving up too much to get rid of the Chromebooks. It's too much flexibility. It offers too many tools. Like if I had to have 4 items, it has to be one of them. Like I have to have Chromebooks. Now, with that being said, I don't know if you have this problem, but I have problems with kids bringing uncharged Chromebooks, and I have randomly, like 3 times a school year, the power in my building goes out. It's happened like it happens like 2 or 3 times every year. So it's just like lights go off and all the kids are like, yeah, because they think no work, right? Like I'm like, that's when we break out the paper and the pencil. All right. So I need Chromebooks. I need pencils. Okay. I need pencils. I need paper copies of the assignment that we're working on. Okay? I have to have paper copies of them just in case that electric pole that gets hit 3 times a year, wherever it is, gets hit again and power goes out. Like, I need paper copies. All right? Because that's a bad feeling when the Chromebooks go down, internet goes down, and you don't have anything for them to do.
Oh, well, that's when I dust off the textbooks that I'm fairly certain are from like 1996. They got like Pluto as a planet still in them, and I'm like, here we go.
Hey, that's Kathy Donovan would appreciate it, brother. She'd be all for it. So, yes, I need those things. And then lastly, this is where things aren't. This is where I ran into problems. I originally said I need a whiteboard.
Uh-oh.
But I ain't got no markers, so I don't know what to do about that. So I'm going to switch it out. You know what? I can do this. I can do this verbally. I don't need to show this. I can explain it. I can hold it up on a sheet of paper on the back of one of those assignments. I can do that. I know I need the other 3 things. Okay? Give me a bag of Jolly Ranchers for that 4th item. Give me a bag of Jolly Ranchers.
What?
You give me a bag. You give me a bag of Jolly Ranchers and a Chromebook and piece of paper or paper copies of the assignment and a pencil. Dude, 100% completion rate. No problem. We'll run competitions for Jolly Ranchers. We'll answer questions for Jolly Ranchers. Dude, they run sprints for Jolly Ranchers.
Oh,
I don't make them do that.
Yeah, they will.
They go the extra mile.
Dude, they love Jolly Ranchers. I love Jolly Ranchers, but
they're good, dude. I mean, part of the Jolly Ranchers are for me. I ain't gonna lie. Part of nobody had any selfish picks on here. I don't believe half these people. You mean tell me half y'all going to not bring your Stanley Cup? Or your mug, your coffee? I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
So that one is a selfish. Your number 3 is a selfish pick.
What's my number 4?
Oh, your number 4. Yeah.
Just in case, because you have those days where it's like, okay, you know what, today's just not going really well. I just need to spice it up a little bit. You know, break out the Jolly Ranchers, have a little competition. You know, like a little group competition or something. Like, you know, there's ways.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. See, when you first started talking, I was like, oh, you just need to treat yourself. Like, the day's not going good, I'm going to treat myself is what I was thinking.
Well, that too.
That's when I break into the bottom of my bottom filing cabinet is my snack drawer.
Uh-oh. Do your kids know that? Because they do now?
They do now.
Okay. So it's not a secret.
No.
Okay.
No, they've seen me sneak a piece or two of chocolate out of there.
They're just like working. You just cracking open a Snickers bar while they're working. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm bad to kind of walk around and with Jolly Ranchers or peppermints, you know, give those out occasionally. End up with 52,000 wrappers in my desk by the end of the day, but you know, it's all good. Kids, I'm all for internal motivation. I do believe that's the way to go 99% of the time, but hey man, occasionally they need that external motivation. It is what it is, and it works. I really love having little competitions with groups. Sometimes we'll do like, for example, one time we did riddles, and the groups that got the most riddles right, because we were doing argumentative writing, and they had to argue whether or not the answer to the riddle was this, using evidence and discussion, and the group that like got the best, they won some candy or something like that. You know, it's just nice to have on hand. You know, I would have took my whiteboard, but your boy didn't have any markers, so I could have went your route. I could have been like, you know what? I'm going to replace the pencils with the markers, but what fun is that? Right? What fun is that? We'd have the same items.
That is true.
We'd have the exact same thing.
True.
So yeah. I'm just gonna go out there. I'm gonna go join Sir Dallas on the candy sugar train, and I'm gonna do that. maybe I should have stuck with the cookies, cupcakes, ice creams, and donuts.
Sounds like a great time.
It sounds good. It sounds like a good time. Let me tell you. So, all right. I do have a request. If everyone would engage with us on Facebook, we would really appreciate it, as always. I'm going to throw up a question on there and ask you if there's anything that you would have switched on our lists, or what 4 items you would have now. I would love to hear what you have to say. Please get on there and tell us. We'll have a discussion. We'll talk about it. And we will see you next time on Brothers on the Board. Have a great evening.